right. Great people. We are in the house live. Wasn't able to tune in on Tuesday, had some stuff going on, but we back in effect. You know how we get down. It is Thursday. Hopefully y'all had like a great week. Tonight's a special show. Got my brothers in the house, and then I definitely got my special guest is also a brother of mine. So he's in the house. Kyle, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you,
CHEESTAKE.
Thank you. It's an honor and a blessing, brother. You know, we go back like afros and fat crayons, bro. So thank you.
Right.
Thanks for making sure I can be a part of this great, this great.
I ain't gonna lie, Chris. That sounds like 89 right there.
Yeah, man.
You see the grace in the beard? I got a little wisdom on me, bro. I got a little wisdom.
Not too old for me.
Not the fat crayons and fat shoelaces.
Hey, you already know.
That's back there. You can't even hold them bad boys with two fingers. That's
not back to cross colors.
Hey man, I'm talking about the paper. I'm talking about the letter paper. You know, the green paper that you had to sit up here and learn how to write your letters. That's how far we go back.
That's tough.
You don't even remember cross colors, bro.
No, sir. No, sir. Send a link in the group chat. No, sir, I don't.
Oh yeah.
I'm still on bananas and pajamas.
That's bro. That's like when them jeans with that leather patch on the front of
the Chris Brown
with a rayon shirt. Remember the rayon shirt?
Boy, don't you know from JW Fashion?
Y'all acting y'all age on here tonight.
Hey, yeah, it is, man. That was some good times there.
There's some good times, y'all. So, absolutely, y'all. We're back in the house, fellas. This is what we're doing, y'all. Having a good time, good energy, good people. First and foremost, before I even get started, always give honor to God. You know, God is everything in my life, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without God, I don't have anything. Without God, I'm nothing. So, I always give honor and praise. If you woke up this morning and you're above ground, like the old folks say, you above ground, you blessed. A lot of people didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? If you made it back home from your job, you blessed. A lot of people didn't make it back home. You know what I mean? So just count your blessings. Understand where you are in life. This is not a race. You know what I'm saying? You got to race yourself, right? You compete against you. Right? You ain't got to size nobody up. You got to compete against nobody. Right? Do great things in your life, and let God put God first, and then second, third, fourth, and whatever other numbers gonna go fall in after. All right. So with that being said, I got my boy in here tonight because there's a topic. We were talking about when he's in Houston, we kind of started some stuff, and so we kind of talked a little bit, but this is going to be something more in depth. Because we kind of started talking about this, about men and women, and we did Battle of the Sexes, and we always talk about all these different things. But I think what I love to talk about a lot of times is just different storylines and perspective in regards to what men go through, what men deal with. Because I think the narrative a lot of times, you always hear when a brother do something horrible, you always hear about it. Right here, how many times you hear all men are dogs and men ain't no good, ain't no good brothers out here, and the list goes on, and he this and he that, right? But then we don't hear the fact that when men go through things, a lot of times, it's not always his fault, right? There's a lot of women that contribute to that, right? A lot of women out here that put us through the ringer with some stuff. And a lot of us have similar stories. You know what I'm saying? We got similar stories, even though we have different backgrounds. So tonight, what we're going to talk about is some of those things, right? And the topic, just so we keep it on track, it's a man's healing. Okay. Again, this is not about. It's not that we know women go through the healing process. Women have. I won't say more prepared for it, but it's just like there are more resources, more situational things that happen for women because women are a lot of emotions, so they're emotional. So there's a lot of things are in place to help balance that emotion. But for men, we don't have a lot of outlets, so that emotion that we have is just really built in, and that can lash out in different ways. It can explode in different ways. So many different things that can happen on that level. So tonight we're going to talk about some things. We're going to talk about some things, experiences. When we're talking about men healing, we're going to talk about different topics, and within that right there, we're not going to stick to one specific topic because, man, we can pick one. We can pick a whole series on that, and we might decide to do something like that later. But tonight is just going to generalize and touch on different topics when it comes to men's healing, a wounded warrior. And when we talk about that is men are considered warriors, right? And we hold it down, and we should be head of the household and kings, and we got all these great titles. But the problem a lot of times is that, when you sitting on that throne or you doing all these things, who do you have to fall back on, right? Who do you have to talk to? Who do you have to lean on when you're going through things, right? Because we kind of grew up in an era when they said, men got to be tough, right? You can't cry about nothing. You shed some tears, people think you weak, right? All that kind of stuff. So, we want to break some of that narrative because that has to be spoken. That has to be put out here that men are not weak when you crying or when you dealing with something, right? You show emotion. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Too many brothers out here too hardcore. Right. And they don't really understand that you got to let that emotion out. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, you'll find yourself in a situation. So tonight we're going to talk about some of that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of lead it out here. One of the things that I think all of us have experienced in our lives is dealing with somebody from your past in a certain relationship. We want to start off from that and just kind of flow from there, because a lot of the hurt and pain that we encounter is because of our relationship we had with somebody, right? Especially for a man, because we so take care of the woman, be there for her, support her, have her back. But what happened? So the question now is, what happens when, let's say, you ain't been perfect, right? You know what I'm saying? You did some things, and you're not. By all means, again, you're not an almighty high, you ain't walked on water, you ain't Jesus. So you done messed up, did some things. But what happens when it's your turn to heal, right? What happens when that woman that relationship that you had didn't work, right? And you find out things about that queen that it didn't go that way, right? How do brothers respond to that? Because we know we get I pull 1,000, memes and books and memos about what women go through. But what do men go through, right? What do we deal with, right? When we hurt, what outlets, like, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight, right? So you're going to hear from the brothers so y'all can understand. And ladies, this is really for a lot of ladies out here, so y'all can get some insight, because I find like a lot of women always go to other women to talk about men. You know what I'm saying? And they go to their girlfriend, and they go to this one, but they never go to a dude, like a true dude, and so that they can explain to them, this is what we're really going through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I sit here and shed all these tears. I ain't sitting here crying in front of you, but that don't mean that I ain't been through nothing. You know what I'm saying? That mean I ain't burning up and I'm hurting. So that's what we're talking about tonight. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and let my special guest chime in, but tell us, when we're talking about past relationships, right? I've been through a divorce. I had a past relationship with my ex-wife. And there's a lot of similarities for a lot of us, whether ex-girlfriend or ex-wives, that a lot of women that I want to hear listening to this, hear the storyline so they could see that it ain't just, you got 4 brothers who came from different families and different situations in life, how we have similar storylines. So they, you know what I'm saying? So they say something that there's no collusion here. We didn't sit here and script this out. We literally have these experiences to back it up. So Kyle, let me ask you this. So you just recently got out of, a marriage that you've been in for a very long time. Again, okay, this is not a bashing session. I want to kind of clear that up because this is not about bashing exes or anything else like that. This is about what do men go through for the emotional, the healing, the process. Like, where do we start from that? Right. So kind of run it by me, Kyle, and then I'm gonna let you have the floor, brother. You tell me, like, where do you start with that process?
Man, I think what really happened, and again, I'm all big about accountability, so I can only speak for myself. I think at that time, man, when I realized that it was her who did it, bro, I looked at everything from the past that was gaslighting, throwing old stuff in my face of what I did, even though I course corrected my actions and my behavior, that was still used to almost keep me subdued, keep me submissive to her, keep me at a level of, you did this, so you have to basically do what I ask and do what I say to get in the good graces. So
to dang a carrot kind of thing.
Okay. So like I said, it's the gaslighting. So when I was faced with that, man, I had to, all that stuff replayed in my mind. All the times where, arguments were being started when I didn't do anything, but that's because that person has a guilty conscience. That person's out there doing those things. So I started looking at, and really questioning myself of throughout my relationship. And I'm pretty sure she can say the same thing about me, because again, I'm not perfect. When you get with someone and you truly love or care or into that person, you're going to see some flags, whether they yellow flags or orange flags or red flags. But because you really want stuff to work out, what do we typically do? We overlook. We hope we become very optimistic and say, oh, well, we hope this person will be better or do better, this, that, and the third. So, I know I've overlooked a lot of the red flags, early on. And I'm sure she can say the same with me. But, when you change your behavior and the other person, when you bring stuff to them that you need, that they don't want to change, well, again, man, that's when you're dealing with a person who's selfish. You're dealing with a person who's almost borderline, this word is really being thrown out there more and more frequently. You're starting to hear it, not just toxic, but narcissistic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What is the MO of that? Most people sit up here and say, what? You hear that from a man being a narcissist or control. Right. So, but not the fact that there are a lot of women out there doing that too. So, what I had to do is replay in my head, like, yo, man, after I fell, after I had my transgressions or infidelities or whatever it is, was I able to course correct and change my behavior? And looking at myself in the mirror saying, yeah, I did, then that made me easy to, to walk away from the situation. Because at that point, it's not me, it's really her.
Right.
So from the healing standpoint, man, I went to brothers like you. You know what I'm saying? I went to my core men, married or divorced or single, or just individuals who I know are really in my circle, who really care about me. And I can find it in them. You know what I'm saying? Sought therapy too. You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, man, we as men, we need that. I think we really need therapy.
I think every man, if you're in your 40s, if you make it to your 40s, bro, you need to get some therapy. There's a lot of baggage in there.
Big facts. So my healing, was doing those things and being vulnerable to those individuals that I know that I can be vulnerable with, who is not going to use that as ammunition later down the line, but who are really going to pour back into me. Because at that point in time, they saw that I really needed them. And that's to what you were talking about earlier. Like, as men, we're constantly you're pouring into your kids, you're pouring into your wife, you're pouring into your girlfriend, you're pouring into your boys who are having problems, you're pouring into your family. Unless you really have a person in your corner that isn't selfish, that isn't one-sided, And I can talk about my sis over there because again, I know, you know what I'm saying? She pours back into you. So you have someone pouring back into you.
Right.
But there's a small amount of us who really have someone who can really pour back into us. So, you know, that's why when situations like this occur, most men go wild out. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
their healing is, I was hurt. I'm gonna go and crush as many women as possibly can. Right. And they may use that heal, but they don't, you know, but again, with that comes now you're playing with other people's emotions and feelings, and now you might be hurting somebody else. So that's not always a good thing to do. You know, it's just I prayed, you know, I looked at myself in the mirror, I confided in people who I confide into. And then also, bro, a part of my healing was I had to let a lot of people go.
And I think that's a part right there too, because I remember when I went through my divorce, my first time, it shocked me because a lot of these brothers I went to church with, who I hung out with, who called me their brother, man, you know, brotherhood, they preach all that good stuff. But the minute that I went through a divorce and I was single again, you know, a few of these brothers, man, was like, you know, man, hey, you cool? I didn't hear from him. I tried to hit him up. And one brother just came out and said, hey, man, you know, my wife not too comfortable, you know, with you coming by the house like that before, you know, da-da-da. I'm like, what? And then one other brother just kind of put it out there, kind of, you know, without saying too many things, he was kind of like, you know, now you single, bro. I can't have you around my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna go for your wife or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of that stuff kind of happened, you know, right after that. So I can relate to that. I can definitely relate.
You know, you lose people.
Let me ask y'all a question.
Sure.
What does it mean for a man to heal emotionally before stepping? You know, just like y'all say, you know, you recently got out of some. Chee, you got out of some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean for a man to heal emotionally?
My answer could be different from Cheese or Kings over there. I think you have to understand, you almost have to go back into it with an open mindset. You got to go back and understand that just because your ex did whatever to you doesn't mean this next woman is going to do the same thing to you. So it's almost like, bro, and I can only put it to you in a way that I'm sure all of us here as spiritual brothers can understand. It's that blind faith. Right. We sit up here and believe in God. We don't see him, but we know he's here. It's the same thing in that situation.
So wholeheartedly, you will fall in love again. You will.
Absolutely. I will fall in love again. You know what I'm saying? And as men, we gotta shake that air off about us. It's okay to fall in love. Right. It's okay. Right. Everybody wants to be loved. None of us want to be alone. So it's okay. Now, I feel that you need to take whatever steps and whatever measures in order to, you know, discuss it, talk about it. Because if you don't, you gotta vent some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? But you know, to really just take the time to understand, look, you know, and Chee and I had this conversation on Saturday. You're gonna have those people that are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And that could be your spouse. Right. Your spouse can be in your life truly for a reason and a season. Or a lifetime. I'm living proof. Wow. I'm living proof.
Yeah. I think it's really important. I think it's real important what you said in the beginning. You had faults.
Yeah.
You had different things that you did. You acknowledge
accountability.
That. Accountability. Without pointing the finger over there first, you acknowledge yourself first.
Got to.
So, spiritually thinking, in order to come to that healing that you were talking about, D, that thing, you have to die to yourself first. That old man that caused those problems, that old person that was an issue, needs to go away. So that first person that you talking about, yeah, you got to get rid of some people in your life. That first person is you.
Right.
That
Right.
old man got to go.
Right.
You can't take that old person into a new situation and think you
The
to
old
get a different
mentality.
outcome.
Right.
Right.
You're
Right.
not
The
going
old
to get a
mentality.
different outcome.
Right.
Analyze yourself first. Then right there after that, that's where you clean your closet out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
I agree with that, man. I agree with that. We got to be. I think accountability is important, but I think the most important thing is maturity. Right. I think that's one of the most underrated things in a relationship. When you've been with somebody a long time, it's not just love. You know what I mean? And I think people misguide that. They misunderstand. Love is something that's ever growing. But love is a feeling, right? There are people who fall in love, fall out of love. But maturity helps you understand something for longevity. Okay?
right,
Maturity helps you understand what it is you're dealing with for longevity. So maturity says, if I see a girl that is 25 and she fine. We used to have barbershop talk. I did this in barbershop in Atlanta. You see a woman that's 25 and she fine and thick and all this other stuff, right? And it was a dude. I remember doing the barbershop he was talking about some girl he was messing around with and all this other stuff. I had to have a conversation with him, man, and he was boasting about it. He was like, yeah. I got my little side piece and all this other stuff. I don't know the terms now. But you lack maturity when you don't understand where you are in life. I think that's one of the most underrated things in a relationship. Understanding where you are and who you are, right? He was mature enough to understand that at 25 years old, she's supposed to look like that. You know what I'm saying? She's supposed to look like that. She's supposed to look good or thick or cute or whatever. She's 25. But you're supposed to understand you don't leave your wife for no 25-year-old. You see what I'm saying? You don't leave your wife for this woman. This woman has not built anything with you, right? This woman has not been there in the trenches with you. She didn't ride with you. She just looks a certain way. So that's more than just love. Because I'm sure, he didn't say he didn't love his wife. He just thought that he wasn't mature enough to understand where he is in life and understand that there's levels to this. Because I'm sure he wasn't a millionaire, billionaire. So that means your paper ain't the way it's supposed to be yet. So you really ain't got that kind of time and resources to be sitting there having 2-3 women on this side. That's resources you can put back in the house. You see what I'm saying? So when we're talking about relationships, we're talking about, healing. I think it's maturity to understand where you are and what you need in life. You see what I'm saying? What kind of healing you need, what resources you need, what it is that you really need. How is it that's just going to help me out for the next relationship? And like Chris was saying, Kyle, for you to come on and say, man, this is me first and foremost, speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying? Because can the other person say that about you? Right. Like you said, gaslighting. A lot of women, especially these relationships, they quickly point you out. They'll point you out in a minute. you. But they don't look in the mirror and say, you know what did I not do? You know what I'm saying? What could I do differently? And ladies, that's what you got to do sometimes. It's not a bashing session. Because I think a lot of times what we want to do is we want to have a dialogue with you where you don't start taking things personal and start taking things to the point where it gets sensitive, when we're not putting you down if we point out certain flaws or certain things that we notice that's happening. And I think there has to be some clarity with that. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
That does not start 2 or 3 years into a relationship. That's something that starts while dating.
Absolutely.
Right.
While dating. Absolutely. When you feel like you're serious about this person, then you need to start having those conversations. You need to be able to put it into a place to where the two of you are free to be able to come and have this dialogue. That whole thing of them old folk always say, you never go to bed mad. Never go to bed upset.
Right.
Have those kind of conversations, because if you take that over into the next day, you don't know what can go on.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's been going on to that person's mind all night. Like you say, there probably been some things that you done that you don't even realize you did it, but she witnessed it and she done caught on to it, and she gonna bring that mug back up.
Right.
And you gonna be sitting there trying to figure out, man, what in the world did I did? She ain't forgot. You probably forgot it.
Right.
But that type of thing, you have to air those things out. You got to get those things out, and you have to be in a safe space to where you can actually be able to come and have this conversation. We both need to be able to. I need to be able to have you say everything that you need to say without me interrupting. True. And then when it's my turn, the same thing.
True.
Not sitting there trying to pinpoint something to where you're gonna be okay. Oh, he said this. I'm about to hit him with this one as soon as it's my turn. It's not that. You're not listening to each other.
Right. Well, King, you made a very good point right there. And that is something that's never addressed. And again, when you're having that conversation, most of the time, men are having that conversation in order to get to a solution. Most men are solution oriented. We're talking to somebody so we can figure out what the hell is going on, and how we can get to a solution to end it.
Right.
On the flip side of when we're talking to them, ladies, you're picking up that and using that as ammo.
Because you worry about my tone.
You're using that as ammo.
And my tone, how I'm not addressing the emotional part of it, how I'm not talking about the feelings and that part of it. And it's not that I'm not addressing that, is that whatever that thing is, it's a situation that we need to solve. That once we solve that problem, here's what most women a lot of times don't get. If we solve the problem, your emotions are automatically going to be in line with the solution, right? Because I'm addressing if I fix the problem, right? Then we don't have to focus on the total emotion of everything, because we found a solution to it, if that makes sense.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And I used to always say, whether it was in my previous relationship or relationships before my past marriage, feelings are flighty. Sorry, ladies, feelings are flighty. Not saying that you can't have feelings and you can't have your emotions, you can. But how many times do we know you'll feel 1 minute one way and the next minute you feel something different? So just like your point, Chee, if we're talking about and we're really focusing on the problem and we're getting to a solution, while we're discussing that, you may feel some kind of way. But as we're going through the process of the conversation and you're starting to see the solution is being formed and you get to the solution, 9 times out of 10, your feelings are going to, but some men are the same. You're right. Mika, I see you chiming in. You're absolutely right. But that means then that's that communication of we as, whether I just go ahead and call the demographic we have here, we as Black men and Black women, we need to learn how that we're not talking at each other, but talking to each other. Right. Let's work together. You know what I'm saying? My problem and your problem, if we're together, there are problems. So let's work together to get through that. Let's put the ego down. You know what I'm saying? And that's big. Women, y'all got ego too. So let's not even sit up here in front on that.
And once again, let's add something to that too. Not just talking to each other, but listening to each other.
Absolutely.
You have to listen to each other and actually care what the other person is saying.
Mm-hmm. Bingo.
If you don't care, you're gonna check out as soon as you hear something you don't want to hear.
Right. But that's effective listening, though. Really
am I right, D? Am I right? Because a lot of times someone will say something and they hit a nerve, and then all of a sudden.
But that's because you hurting. That's because somebody say something they're not really trying to get a response to the solution. They're trying to get a reaction. So now I was like, okay, now you're hurting me because you're making me feel a certain way, right? Yeah. So we're not addressing the problem. We're addressing the fact that, well, you're not perfect, right? You mess up, you do this, and now we just going through this circle, right? We're not really solving nothing, right? So some of the comments on here, y'all, is pretty good.
And the thing is, we like you said, we are more solution based beings. We want to fix the situation. If we can't fix it, we don't really know how to respond a lot of times, and a lot of that once again,
sometimes
you have to get to a place where you you have to get to a place where you're actually listening to a woman's perspective on things, and a lot of times you will learn so much more if you just learn how to listen, and that'll cause a lot of it'll be a lot less arguments. I'll just say that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's cool, like we was saying earlier, you know, and me and Mika was saying in the comments, the thing is that it's cool to go and talk to someone from the opposite sex and things like that, but sometimes that can get into a touchy little area because someone over there, if you're not very, very trusting, they can try to take advantage of a situation.
Hey, that's key. Yes,
you know what I mean. And if they we see it a lot now. How many of us during the time we were in school, how many little sisters did we have up in school? That's my little sister. Oh, that's so and so. When they get into it, it's a bit, you laughing to hear stuff. You don't talk about
my little cousin, my baby cousin.
I can neither confirm nor deny that statement.
You let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. How many times? Yeah. Man, so and so, man. What's going on with little old dude? Old dude still, y'all still good? What's happening? Oh, he acting like that? Man, that's messed up, man. How that man do that like that? Man, I know I would never treat you like that, man. You know how it goes.
Right. We know how it go.
You know what I mean? So a lot of times you just can't. A lot of times it's not. You can't trust that kind of thing. So that's where in certain situations, man, it's good to have a good relative of the opposite sex to be able to put you down on game with certain things happening. That it's not going to come out of a place of malice towards whoever you're dealing with,
right?
But to be actually give you some kind of constructive criticism.
Yeah, but there's a lot. But let's keep it 1,000. Right? Let's keep it a band, like they say. A lot of women know, right? Even though you might put that brother in the friend zone or the cousin zone or whatever zone you put him in,
you know, got him too.
You know he got feelings.
Yeah,
that brother got feelings for you. That's a little bit more than a cousin.
You got him too.
Let's keep it real. I mean, you can't go talk.
That brother on the bench.
You know what I'm saying? Like
he on the bench
sweats with the breakaway sweats, waiting to get in the game.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what it is. So you go to him.
He's still
Yeah. Hey, and then you gonna take his perspective on it.
Right.
Look at that.
Look, sitting on the scores table like this, waiting to get in the
game. That boy wait. That boy stretching like a mud. Just waiting
that timeout. He waiting for coach to call timeout. So
dude on LeBron shaking their powder in his hand, just waiting.
Right.
I'm about to get up there.
And I'm telling you, and ladies be opening up all their heart and everything. My brother sitting there like, you know what?
Say open it up.
You know.
This meeting, but
I can't believe he did
talk to the women. So stop.
Yeah,
y'all still talk to the man too. You still talk to Barry. You man, listen, Mika. You was with Barry back in 1997 in college. That was your big bro. You know what I'm saying? You know Barry. Girl.
Come on, and ladies know. Just because you called me your big brother, that don't mean he look at you like you his big sister. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He ain't looking at you like that.
If you gave him an opportunity,
hey. And
you gave him an opportunity.
King, you said the prime word. Opportunity. People don't understand. Look, it don't matter. Again, even in my situation, how it went down with the individuals, it was opportunity.
Right.
It was opportunity. He wasn't gonna leave his spouse. She wasn't gonna leave me.
Right.
But it was that opportunity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, on the flip side, they both got busted. I'm out. Now this person's on the sideways. You know what I'm saying? Now, she done lost everything. He got everything.
Right.
And
people don't understand. Like you said, you got to have that discernment, and you got to realize this game at this level, at our age, you lose a lot.
You got to know, and maturity, like maturity at a certain level, ladies, you got to know when a man is. You don't have enough dudes spit game to you, so you understand the game itself. You may not understand all the rules, but all the players ain't never changed.
Never changed.
So if some dude coming at you with the same game as he did when you was in high school, when you was in middle school, heck, elementary school, we was on the playground trying to get at you.
Right.
In the same rules, in the same dudes doing the same things. So if you're in a situation, a dude, you going through something with your husband, boyfriend, or whatever, and this dude is easy to talk to, or he this, that, and the other. Of course.
Whatever that work husband,
you know what I'm saying?
That work husband.
Work husband.
Yeah, work husband,
look,
work
neighbor.
wife. You know what I'm saying? Neighbor, friend. But what I'm saying is that, ladies, you got to count the cost for this stuff. You got to know better to certain levels.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and
you know what I'm saying?
Men have to understand something. You was talking about the cat in the you was talking about the dude in the barbershop talking about, oh yeah, she thick, she this, she that.
Yeah, like you gotta understand it too.
So you think ain't no dude look better than you?
Right.
You think one don't look better than you?
But
you think one ain't showing more attention than you do?
Like Chris, did he really thought that he was the only one she talking to? Dude, she's 25. Yeah. She's single. Yeah. Like exactly. You act like, you know what I'm saying? But he was so lost in that. And to see men and women at a certain age and stage of life, it's just, to me, it hurts me, because it's like, you come on, y'all. You know a little better than that. You know what I'm saying? You can't be with you can't go, if you married, you can't go be with somebody else that's married and expect that to work.
Right.
Like, that's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the end game with that? Ladies, if you go to a guy and he ain't your boyfriend, he ain't your husband, you think he your big brother, but you know there's something in there, you just don't feel the same way he feel, and you know it, you can't open up to him, because he's just looking for the opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta stop putting ourselves in situations.
Well, I'm gonna say this real quick. First of all, big shout out to my female bestie, S. Dot, who's on here from the D. That my female bestie. So whenever I had any issues with my ex, that's the first person I called. I got a female's perspective, and they met each other, kicked it. We done broke bread. We tight like that. Whenever I sat up here and I told her what went down, my girl Sandra would be like, Kyle, you messing up. You need to go apologize. Accountability.
Right.
Or she'd be like, nah, I need to holler at sis because she on some BS. I need to tell her about herself. Right. It's rare that you actually find those type of people. They are out there. But, you know, like I said, that big shout out to S. Dot that's on here. I saw her slide through on the comment section, so I didn't want to give her a shout for coming in there. But you know,
that's someone with no agenda.
Exactly.
Right. And let's clear it up here so everybody understand. Here's the real. For all the ladies out here, all the dudes, if we say this chick is a female friend or bestie, whatever, let me end it all. We didn't try to get at her. There's a reason why we say that she that way. You know what I'm saying? Just because we see her that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of my female bestie is a Yana. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing sexual, ain't nothing intimate, ain't nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like he said, the main thing, Kyle said something a lot of dudes out here need to listen up on, right? He said, wifey, had met her, been good. If you can't introduce this person to your spouse, male or female, they not big brother. They're not big sister. You running game and you understand what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You can't build a foundation on that. That's just being real.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Another big shout out to Kendra. Another big shout out to Williams on there too. But yeah, we know we ain't got pom-poms, baby. I got you know, rah Bob. We know we got cheerleaders out there.
I'll say this here. I got two. I got two female best friends. One is my wife.
Facts.
The other is her sister.
Like
Her sister, I real talk. Her sister will tell the truth on both sides.
right.
It don't matter. It doesn't. She doesn't pick a side on that kind of thing. So that's for me. That's genuine and safe. I don't. I don't have to go and talk to many. One great thing is I can actually go and talk to my wife about certain things, but that about everything really, because that's something that we established early in our relationship. So it was easy to kind of be able to try to open up and talk about certain things, because she knows me better than anybody else, and she knows things that a lot of people don't know,
And rightfully
and
so, right? I mean, that's
rightfully so. So
right.
it's I once again I look at accountability on all sides of the spectrum, man. It's great to be able to first analyze yourself, then try to get the help that you need for yourself in order for you to move on, to be able to be um, able to go and deal with someone else.
Right.
This
And
is not a thing of being a spiritual person. This is not a thing of come as you are.
right.
That's
And
when
I
you get the help. You got to
right.
get some help
You got to.
But
beforehand.
see, right. And I think what you're saying is absolutely right. Like, like a long time in my life, Ayana was, and still is one of my best friends. I get married, and one of the first things you have to understand about relationships and friendships is that you really, when they say marry your best friend, right? Christy is my everything, right?
Right.
She's not, I can categorize, put a Jan over here. I can put, another friend over here. My wife fills all those roles for me, like Chris was saying.
Yeah.
Few people have that. I'll be honest with you. I'm extremely blessed to have it. My wife and I are so close with stuff. There are times when I go out where it's like, I'm like, man, what's she doing? You know what I'm saying? It's like, because we so in tune. And when I met my wife, she became my best friend, literally, because we were able to talk about everything. And I think people need to understand, you can't be married to somebody or be with somebody and you can't open up about everything that you're feeling, that you're going through. You got to be able to do it all.
And
that's your best friend.
You know how I knew that, Chee? That she was your everything? Because you had me come to Houston in the middle of a hot ass summer. I knew, I was like, yeah, he gonna marry her. They gonna be all right. They gonna be together. They gonna be together forever. But it was a beautiful day. But no, I mean, bro, and it's a blessing.
Is she on here? Where's she at?
I know she gonna chime in.
She gonna chime in like she always do. But
what's your thoughts on that, D?
Man,
Mr. Deep Thinker. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Not one time we've been on here and we talked about love. Where do love fall in a situationship, relationship, in a marriage? Is that a priority? Is that a top three priority?
Love?
When it comes to feelings, emotions, finances, different things of that, is that on the back burner? Is love a priority?
Shoot.
Let me tell you something. Chris put on here.
Dog, bro. This boy, that's why he be sitting over there thinking like
Devon,
that, man. Because he's gonna hit us with one of those.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna answer that.
Because we talked about everything, right?
Yeah.
Colin talked about different situations. So have Chris. So have Chee. And not one time have we expressed, anything about love. So is love a valuable point in a relationship, a situationship, a marriage when it comes to mental healing, different things of that nature? Does that play a part?
Well,
love is an action and reaction type thing.
Well, since we fellas, I'm gonna do the car.
I mean,
like,
go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
No.
Love is a byproduct of respect.
Okay.
Love's a byproduct of trust.
Mm-hmm.
Love's a byproduct of compromise. When they sit up here and saying the vows for better or for worse, they don't give you an outline what better look like. They don't give you an outline what worse is.
That's true.
They don't.
You know what I'm saying? It's not. Look, all of this crap is trial and error, bro.
For real,
it's trial and error.
Yeah.
None of us are perfect. The sad thing about it is you got a lot of women, and it may not be the women that are on this chat right here or listeners today. You may have fallen in this category, but you know your species, you know your gender. A lot of y'all walking around like y'all perfect, like y'all straight 10s, and you the most brokenest ones.
Yeah, that's facts.
I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you. Like I said, look, I say this all the time too. Everything that Kevin Samuels, I've been telling women that for years, before Kevin Samuels, even Kevin Samuels. But you don't want to listen. All of this, the basic building blocks of a relationship are trust, respect. And if a man doesn't have respect, you can forget about love, sweetheart.
Yeah, if you can't love you can love all you want. If you don't respect him,
if you don't respect him,
it's a wrap.
And yes, and safety too, Kendra. Absolutely, safety is key as well. You gotta be safe. Women want to feel safe. I understand that, but in order for us to give you that safety, you have to respect us. And in this day and age, it's hard to respect this when you got what you see on social media. The songs are being played. You got
right
folks in their ear, or you got dudes out here still shooting their shot. It's tough, but the trust, the respect, man, those are and the communication. Those are the building blocks.
And we had to be 100. We had to be honest.
Yep.
We had to be honest. And we had to have some accountability on our side too, because the thing is, we talking. You mentioned something. All them songs and different things is out right now. We started it.
Facts.
Let's be for real. We started it.
Yeah.
Because I remember back in the day. What was that?
Too short.
Luke.
Itches ain't. But
Luke.
You know what I'm saying? We started it. So we started the disrespect.
Right.
And now it's turned.
It's turned back on us, yeah.
And here's the problem. We don't know how to handle it.
Right.
We don't know how to handle it because we spend so much time doing the disrespect.
Right.
So now we don't know how to handle it when it comes back to us. So once again, this is a time where grown men, grown women have to understand and have conversations. Man, I ain't none of that what you talking about, and you are none of that we was talking about back in the day.
Right.
Chris, let me ask you a question.
To the right place. Yeah.
Do men accept contradiction and confusion?
Not well. Not well, because a lot of single men out there, that's been single for a long time. They spend a lot of time pointing fingers, like they have no fault with themselves. They don't have any kind of fault. So if somebody comes and tell them something about themselves, they don't know how to take it, and vice versa. You have a lot of females out there who they stuff don't stink.
Can't take criticism.
Can't take any kind of criticism.
And men too, ladies.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, it goes both ways.
Right.
But once again, that what you said, maturity. A lot of maturity starts with accountability. When you can hold yourself accountable for certain things, I feel like you can grow. You can mature. You can become this person that you need to be instead of being this person that you see on social media.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
But I would also add to that as well that I think a lot of men in dealing with like you were saying, criticism, contradictions, we've been dealing with that for years because we've been told for years all the things there's not been every situation just about you could think of. There's been no filter for men. We've been told what we do, what we can't do, how we did it wrong, what we need to fix, how we need to fix it, the way we need to fix it, how you need to treat her, how you don't need to act. So for us, it's like we got alligator skin when it comes to hearing stuff about us, dealing with that stuff. That's not new for a lot of men because we hear it. We hear it from the people that you with or society.
And the sad thing about that is, like you said, we always hear what we need to fix in order to then that person give us what we want.
Right.
We got to do that whole fixing first
before we get
before, and that's the thing, before they even might consider doing something.
But you ever notice that's more in our community than it is in any other?
I agree.
I don't know if it's just in our community. I just think
I didn't say not just, but more.
More so.
It's more so. I mean, we hear more about us. Is black man this, black man that, black women this, black women that.
I would say that with society.
We hear that so much because we spend so much time early on where we was like this. You couldn't break it up. And then all of a sudden it went the total opposite direction. And now a lot of us see them as the enemy instead of us sitting and trying to learn from each other.
I think it's
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we view each other as the enemy.
We are pitted against each other.
And instead of trying to learn more about each other, because I'm gonna be honest, man. Look, this Saturday, me and my wife would be married. This coming Saturday, me and my wife would be married 23 years.
Give it up. Give it up right there.
23 years. Been knowing us for 20. We've been together for 25. So, in these 25 years, I have yet to figure her out. I still can't figure out. But you know what? I enjoy trying.
You enjoy the journey, baby.
I enjoy the journey.
I know that feeling.
I like trying. Man, hey, if I can do something that'll shock her, I love it. I love it.
But she has. But the thing about it is, man, she has. When we talk about a man wants a ride or die, you know, we made that little statement, ride or die.
Right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, man, we need women to hear that same, you know, safety, that same stuff that you talk, you know, safety, security. We need that too. I need to know you got my back. I need to know that you're gonna protect me, right? I need to know that when I'm down or the money not moving a certain way or my job a certain way, or I may get laid off from this job, or I may not have a job, I may be looking for something, my money not be a certain way. It ain't because I'm less of a man. You know what I'm saying? It is not my job is what I do. It's not who I am. And too many times we attach that to, and you got a brother feeling a certain way because he don't have a job because he has his title of being man of the house, provider. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of men need to understand stuff too, right? And I mean, this generation, because like a lot of women now have the cachet. So when I mean that, they got the positions at the jobs, they got the income now, where before it might have been an issue. We got women who make more than enough money now, who y'all can we can balance each other out. You know what I'm saying? We get these two incomes in to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to. I think now men need to understand that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to understand, you know, this is a situation. And women need to understand that, you know what? Guess what? That salary that you're making, guess what? The brother next to you may not make that what you making because you making it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You in that position.
It's because of these conversations don't happen a lot. We need to have these conversations a lot more. We need to be able to be in a place to where we can have these conversations and have these conversations freely and actually listen to each other when they respond to it. Don't look to be combative. Don't look for an argument. Don't look just to get yours off. Actually be able to listen and learn from somebody else.
Right.
Like I said, 23 years. But you know what I did? I listened to a lot of older couples. I listened to them. I spent a lot of time with a lot of older people. Even as a young child, I was always able to be in a room because I knew to be quiet and just listen. So I learned a lot of things. So man, when I started figuring that, man, look, she's the one for me. I went to old school. I was courting. You feel me?
Right.
I was doing that old school stuff, and I learned so much from the older people. I knew how to respect her, how to treat her, how to how to come at her. So with that being said, I also put out there in the air how I needed to be treated, how I need to be respected, how you should come at me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't give nothing that I didn't want back.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's a thing of, man, people learning each other and learning not to disrespect each other. Don't take what I'm saying and the whole time you loading your gun up because you ready at the drop of a hat just in case.
Yeah.
He say something, I got this in the bag. I'm ready to hit him with this one.
Yeah, well, the classic saying to that is, Chris, is what? Are you listening to understand and comprehend, or are you listening to respond?
Exactly.
There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? And so, and kind of going back to, the topic we were kind of talking about just a little bit ago about, listen, one thing that was told to me and stays true, a degree don't mean a GD thing in a relationship. So don't sit up here and think just because someone makes a certain amount of money, you can treat them less.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because you have multiple degrees, and I'm telling you this from a personal level. I had someone say that to me. I'm like, man, a degree don't mean nothing in a relationship. That just means you're good at your job that you go to, but your job and your relationship are completely separate. So you can't bring that to me.
Yeah,
I can't bring that to you.
But it doesn't matter when you get older. Like most people don't understand.
It shouldn't.
But here's the deal: when you get to certain, I'm gonna keep it a band for you, right? If you're listening, here's how I did. As you get older, right, you have to move the needle of where you're going in life in a relationship. In your 20s, certain things you're looking for. As you get older, the person you got to be with, it ain't just about how much money you bring in. It's about somebody who cares about your health.
Right.
Help you find a doctor's appointment. Right? Are we taking vitamins every day?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Baby, are you eating? You know what? You can't eat all that meat. You know what I'm saying? Or you got to cut back on the sugar. So it ain't about the money. It ain't about your degree of money. It's about, do you really care about me so we can live together forever? My wife is big on that. Like and when I met, let me tell you something. Christy and I, when I told her, she said something in the comments. She says, I've told her things she didn't want to hear. But I told my wife, I said, you signed up for this. You want to be my best friend? You gonna be my best friend. So I'm gonna tell you everything. She'll tell you everything.
That's right. Sit down there. You gotta hear this.
I promise you. She can tell me, babe, why are you even telling me this? I said, because I'm living here with you. So if I see something on TV that look crazy, I'm talking to you about it. If that girl wearing something out of control, she got all her booty out, she got all her boobs out, I'm going to point at it because she got it out. Now, you ain't got to look. I ain't trying to be with her. It don't matter, but you my best friend. Who else will talk to about it? I ain't got nobody else to talk to.
We both gonna look at it, girl. We both gonna look at it.
We both looking. And that's how I'm telling you, and that's why she my best friend. And we don't have no issues like that. I ain't trying to, you know what I'm saying? It's a respect thing with that. Absolutely. I ain't gonna gawk and go try to be with no females, nothing like that. And I'm sure she look at some dude and think he got muscle and stuff like that. It goes both ways. I'll be like, you know what, that brother cut. You know what I'm saying? Okay, baby, I need to get my game up then. So that's a man thing. But you got to be in these relationships, man, and really be, if you're going to be in this thing all the way, you got to be your best friend. For real, for real. For real.
Like, D, I need help, bro. This boy tripping, man.
What you mean?
Help me, D. You got something on your mind, D.
Bro. I was just honest with her. I'm like, you going to be my best friend? You're going to hit everything. I don't get her guy code and everything. I said, you're going to know some stuff. Because I want to hear, I ain't got nobody else to talk to. We living in this house together. We pay these bills. I ain't want to see other homeboys all the time. So when something crazy pop off or something I see, who else I'm going to talk to? It got to be you.
Chee, just call me, bro. Just call me, man. Just call me, man.
I'm just telling you. That's why I got married. I'm like, okay, this is it.
I could just see Chee just going out there, man. Look at her butt. It's a butt hanging out.
I'll do you one better. Chris, you won't believe I told you. You don't believe I told you. Chrissy do it so now. She's like, baby, you see that thing? You see what she wearing over there? I'll be like, baby, I missed it. I'll be like, I missed it. I'll be like, she'll be like, oh, you missed it. That's how our marriage is now. She pouring out stuff now because you know what I said. I let it out. I said, you my best friend. So
bless y'all.
If I see a dude, she look at some dude, she might be like, what I'm saying, he might be attractive. I'm like, okay, well, the brother got some muscle on him. Oh, yeah, but that's about it. And we keep it moving.
That's a different kind of security and comfortability. Yeah, you got to get
that. Ain't for everybody. That ain't for everybody.
When we were in Miami, hold on, man. Everybody can't go to Miami, man.
No, she talking about it.
I ain't lying to you. I told you the truth. Hey. When we were in Miami, everybody can't take their wife to South Beach. Let's keep it 1,000.
Yeah, I know. That's why when we was in Miami, we ain't going South Beach.
Man, we was in South Beach. We was First Avenue to 14th Avenue.
We're going to Hollywood.
I saw him walking. I'm like, nah, we ain't going over there. Let's go to these old people beach over here.
Look, baby, this is out there.
We went to the beach. We went to the beach with the old people and the little kids playing. That's what
look at my wife just put on here, y'all. The girl had her whole booty cheeks out. We were both like, what? Yes, my best friend. If her cheeks out, that's on her. Anybody finna be with her, but she got them out. That's on her. We on South Beach. We kept it moving. Ate this lobster. Had a great evening. Had the time of our lives. I'm just telling you, if you're gonna be married, y'all, when you get to this game and you've been together long enough, gotta marry your best friend for real. Like I don't have to hide.
Hold up, fellas. Can we have a flag on the play for Miss Mika?
Yes. Thank you.
Talking about Chee and the Speedo.
Look, whoa, Mika!
No. Hey, Kyle. I don't know if you was there when we talked about that one. I think you was here when we talked about that on one show, bro. And Chee was talking about how he was gonna be on the beach and he didn't care.
We're talking about the cruise coming up.
I was.
Kyle, that is an inside joke, but it's not because he said it on live. He was on here.
All I said was
he's gonna be a Speedo. He's gonna have his cheeks out. That's what he said. He's gonna have his cheeks out.
All I'm saying is if I'm
like old girl.
If I'm rocked up, I got my abs. Let me tell y'all something, man. If I got my abs right, my body right, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the gym. You got to do leg days too. I got my leg days right. Got my upper body right. I'm just telling you, when I'm on vacation and we on this cruise, come out Speedos? Bro, I might be. Why not? I might come out Speedos. I don't know yet. I don't know. I might come out so strong. That's what Mika was trying. Mika, you put my business out there, Mika. See, y'all trying to put my business out there.
You put your business out there. You the one talking about using them Speedos. That's what you said. You said,
and they're not man panties. They just you got the bodybuilders wearing them. I'm just saying, we get rocked up.
You ain't no bodybuilder, Chee.
That's
the last time you built your body, bro.
I know. Look, I know I'm not. Listen, I think I am. 89. In my heart, in my mind, I'm there. In my mind, I'm getting there. I ain't there yet.
I feel
he ain't through with me yet. He ain't through with me yet.
Right. Yeah, he ain't through. He got a lot of work to do. Oh, this boy. Thank you, Mika. Appreciate it.
Hey, yeah, we needed that.
Thank you for bringing that one back.
Don't bring that one up. I'm through with Mika. Because y'all should bring all my business straight. And I already got I'm going to get there one day and be rocked up. I don't know. I might, but pause. That's the point is.
Pause.
Man, emotional healing. I'm emotional healing.
I'm emotionally damaged right now. Come on, D. You got a question, dog. You got to get off this.
On the way out, emotionally healing. Our special guest. What did you learn? Lesson or loss? From this situation you're going through. Healing process. What did you learn, and what did you lose from this situation?
Well, I'll start with the loss first, man. I mean, you talking about a life that I knew for 16 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Bruh, you talking,
Yeah,
we was
Yes, sir.
14 together, married, but then dated 2 years prior. So you talking
crazy,
16
bro.
years of
Yes, sir.
of time.
Right.
That you can't get back.
That you can't get back.
Right.
I'll even sit up here and say, because again, it wasn't all bad. So
Of
there
course.
was great memories.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was my first and only marriage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You lose all of that. So so looking back at it, like, damn, dog, bro, I wasn't trying to be a failure. This was, again, you go through your ups and downs. Every marriage has its rocky moments. It got its peaks, it got its valleys, but did we grow apart? And it's okay if it does, but if you do grow apart, you should be able to sit down and have a conversation before you go do X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I lost that time. I did lose that time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We were actually friends prior. So now that was a friendship that's lost. We were friends before we started dating. So
what was harder? What was harder, falling in or falling out of it?
Falling in. Because once the deed was done, and for me, it wasn't the deed itself. It was whom the deed was done with.
Was with. Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Someone that I broke bread with, traveled with, kicked it with. So at that point, there's no reconciliation, you know what I'm saying, at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just that time, man. It's that time. It's the loss of a friend, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, at one point in time, I'm not going to sit up here and bash her. She was a friend. And I'm sure she's still a good person.
Yeah.
Right.
She made a decision. She made a decision.
Not in that situation.
Not in that space. You know what I'm saying? For the long term for me, which is like I said earlier, you got that person in reason, season, lifetime. She gave me, she was a season. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't my lifetime. And she gave me a lot of lessons and a lot of reasons. You know what I'm saying? I learned so much about me. I learned that I could be in a committed relationship. Yeah. I learned how to better communicate. You know what I'm saying? I learned how to, self-reflect. I became more accountable of my actions. You know what I'm saying? So I learned a whole bunch of lessons that now I can take to whomever down the line and come off rip like, look, before we go any further, we need to have these conversations. You know what I'm saying? Before we start to talk, date, court, whatever. And if the young lady goes her separate ways, then so be it. But I'm going to stay true to who I am. So, I learned all of those lessons. But, overall, man, again, like I said, it really showed me how resilient that I am. And not only to show me the resilience just as a person who, I know I'm a man, I stand, 10 toes down. I stand on my own too all day, every day. But to be able to go through something like that, to know that that was God's plan, and question it, and to know that it didn't hurt me or scar me for somebody else, right? I'm good.
I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you that. Did you? Because I meant you said earlier, you had to go get some help. You got help with that. So you allowed yourself time to be healed, not just heal yourself, but be healed.
Yep.
In order to where you're not going to take that and go into another relationship with somebody else and automatically attack them with what was done to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That which happens in a lot of relationships.
It does, man.
People come from other relationships.
And I think I know my support group around me, the individuals who I had, the people that I met, whatever have you, and being able to be fully transparent and fully vulnerable allowed me to heal probably a lot faster than most people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because, like I said early on, I lost a lot of people. I lost friends, because in a situation like that, you
start not trusting.
Your social circle, you have a friend group or whatever have you. So, I had people and friends that's like who I thought would be neutral.
Right.
And they drew a line in the sand.
I went through that. Yeah, I was talking about
that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
like, what?
Like, wow, really? So basically, it's like, like, dog, like at the end of the day, and I've learned this lesson too going forward, D and Chris, bro, people got to get back to what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
Things in this world ain't doing that no more.
Yeah, you got to start there.
Everything great.
Like, nah, bros. Like I had to tell a homeboy, yo, I can't be your friend because, when he went through his situation and his divorce, his ex didn't do nothing wrong to me, but off the strength of that's my man's, and I know how that would make him feel if I was seen with her or communicating with her, whether it's social media or just socially. He would feel some kind of way. He be emo. He be on his Carl Thomas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He be feeling real emotional.
Yeah.
On some Rolf Transvan type ish. So I cut her
off. Look at me. I can't stop crying.
Right, exactly. But then in my situation, he kicking it, brunching it, partying it. And I'm like, dang, bro, really?
Yeah.
I got you. Love you. You ain't done nothing wrong to me, but you chose
doing something wrong to me. Nah, you doing something
wrong. You did something wrong to me, right? But you chose your side.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So, because here's the thing. This is the part when you're talking about, the emotional part, Wounded Warriors, which is a topic for today. Take us through? Like, I know what I went through. Like, most women don't understand what a man goes through in a divorce process, because a lot of times we always talk about like the emotional part, a woman going through how she deals with this, how she hurting, how she's this, but we don't really hear a lot of what does a man go through, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you go through a divorce or you're going through a situation, like, what is the thing, like when you got to go get your own place, when you have to look back at your relationship, how do you feel when you got to sit back at night and you feel like a failure? Do you feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are those emotions that's happening? And I want that to be out here on the video so people can see that men, people say men hurt, right? But I know the times, man, when I went through my divorce, man, I felt there were some times, you know what I'm saying? It was hard for me because it was like, man, I invested so much. How did I end up here? Why did I not see this? Why, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's some of the stuff I was going through myself. Like, tell me.
Are there kids involved in this situation?
No kids.
Okay. Because I would think that would be way hard.
Right. That makes it so much easier.
Right, that's true.
Okay.
But just in the process, like, we don't really hear, like, a lot of men don't talk about it like that. You know what I'm saying?
I think no, we don't talk about it, but Chee, for us, man, we again, it goes back to what's like, we got to be strong. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when you're going through all of that, you're like, all right, well, let me go do this. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of knuckle up
and stay busy.
Stay busy.
Okay.
But then when you have your downtime, you start replaying things like, okay, well, I know I ask myself questions.
I was just about to ask you.
I ask myself.
In your healing process, did you ever question yourself, like, what I could have done different?
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But again, that goes back to me being accountable.
Made this working?
Yeah,
right.
I can sit up here and say, because again, I'm human, and sometimes
Of course.
never sat up here and acted completely out of pocket. But when people get heated, especially when there's gaslighting involved, I got mad. I may have said some things, you know what I'm saying, or I didn't want to be bothered, whatever have you. Hey, man, you can't be like that moving forward. Like, okay, look, again, what are we really fighting about? Are we fighting about the problem? Or are we fighting about what you said versus what I said and all this other stuff? So, I had to ask those questions. You know what I'm saying? Well, Dad, maybe I was too, maybe I was too free. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of brothers that are, kind of controlling when it comes to their women, this, that, and the third. I'm thinking we're grown adults, we together. I'm not going to check you. You know what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to let you. And again, I feel folks need to be an individual within a relationship. So, but as you're going through all of this, dog, I'm asking all these questions. You know what I'm saying? Should I, was I too,
naive,
nonchalant? Was I too nice?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can be honest and say, as you can tell, I'm a very outgoing guy. I'm a very optimistic person. Chee will tell you, man, like when I met Chee, hey man, it acted like we was never strangers, like we knew each other for years. Like what up? Hey man, for real,
man, I don't understand, man. He has that effect. I don't know what that is, man. It's like
it's the anointing. That's what it is.
It's like
the anointing.
You know what I'm saying?
It's some old warlock type stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is.
But good spirit, man. So
man.
I even ask myself, because I'm a extrovert, how did I get with an introvert?
Right. Okay.
Dude, as you're going through this entire process, man, of whether it's getting your own space or trying to figure out what you're going to do next, navigating this whole thing. Yeah, I'm asking all these questions, D. I mean, these are some outlandish questions. Like I thought I was giving enough. Was I giving enough? You know what I'm saying? Or was I? Should I pull back some? Dude, you ladies, just like y'all sit up here sometimes and go completely bonkers in your head. We do too.
To figure out,
we trying to figure it out too. I just think sometimes we do a better job at it. You know what I'm saying? Because we're like, and we get to a point that this is what it is. And as a man, like I said, you just got to move forward.
Yeah, a lot of times it take the right people around you to actually be honest enough with you, and you have to be honest with yourself and actually accept what they're saying, because they're on the outside looking in and they can tell you, hey man, you was out of line on this one,
right?
You was out of line here,
right.
You wasn't doing this right. You know what I mean? And me being a brother. If I can come and tell you that, man, we can iron sharpens iron. We ought to be able to make each other better.
All day.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times that's supposed to actually be in that relationship, and a lot of times it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
Iron's supposed to sharpen iron, man. Y'all are one. Y'all in this thing together, and y'all supposed to be one sharp object. Y'all supposed to be right there, but a lot of times it just doesn't come like that.
I learned a lot. A guy told me it's no manual for being a parent and also being in a marriage, right?
Nope.
Everything you do, everything you say, every action, reaction, it's all learned within the midst of a parent or a marriage. You just got to do it on the fly. You don't have no script. It ain't no script. When y'all said I do, they ain't give you a manual with it. No. They just told you for better or worse. So you just got to figure it out, man.
And I will say this when it comes to the emotional healing stuff. I will say a couple things real quickly in regards to that. If you've messed up, All right, somebody listening. Let's say you messed up, you done something bad. There has to, if this person wants to be, there's two things that would happen in a situation. Either the person gonna say, you know what, I want to work it out with you, or I'm ready to move on. Then the only two things happen in a situation.
Mm-hmm.
If the person decides they want to work it out with you, you have to be very careful. All right, and this is what I'm saying. You have to be very careful because this person is hurting, and if you're not careful, they can pull you in so many different directions to make you feel what you put them through, and that's not the healing part. Okay.
Yeah, it's a thing of punishment now.
A thing of punishment now, and so you have to have. There has to be some way of redemption, right? This is male or female. There has to be some way of redemption to go back to restoration in that relationship. And if you don't have that, then their person is just pulling you. And then you have to, at some point, you have to have a cutoff point, right? Like if you're just pulling me, and you're not telling me what I need to do to make things right, and I'm trying to make things right, and I'm trying to do the things that I want to do to be back in your good graces because I messed up and I'm human, whatever the situation is, the person, it's easy to have sympathy and love and everything else for the person who was hurt. The person who did the hurting, you're not going to get that. There ain't a whole lot of people going to give you a whole lot of sympathy or all the stuff you're dealing with. But you also have to understand you're human and your feelings are still valid, and you can't allow that situation because you're going to have that person and 20 other people telling you how bad a thing you messed up on. And if you're not careful, you can fall into condemnation. And condemnation means you just beat yourself up so bad, suicidal thoughts going through your mind. You feel like there's no way I can get out of this. I can never be whole again. God is through with me. There's no way out of this thing. So I want to tell people who are listening, that's not true. That if you mess up in life, that God is not, it's not the end of your life. God has forgiven people who have killed people. All right. I mean, so it's not the end. So just make sure that if you're going through a process, make sure it's a process of restoration. Right. There's some key things lined up that if I do these things and I show you consistency, that at least gets me a little bit closer. Now, trust is broken and may take a while to build up, but at least you're not pulling me and not dragging me or gaslighting me. And just beat me down consistently.
A man or woman can be through with you. God is never through with you.
Right. I'm waiting for Coach D or Coach King to call a timeout so I can come up off the bench because I have one for you. I have one for you, Chee. There you go.
He pulled the sweats off. He coming on in there.
He pulled the sweats off. I told you, hey, look, I'm gonna give you a solid 4-4 on this one. I'm gonna give you 4 points, 4 assists. Here you go.
You got it.
The major issue, and maybe issue is not the word, and ladies, I do hope if you're listening, and fellas, if you are out there too, not saying nothing, y'all listen, man. It's about forgiveness. See, here's the thing: what happens? You got to be able to truly forgive. People use that word where I forgive you. They use that joint real loose,
right?
They real loose with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, right, and they really don't. So instead of being truthful and honest, and again, I understand the saying, you may forgive, but don't forget.
Right.
But if you say you forgive, you cannot then if Big D smack me in the face and I say, D, that was messed up, but I forgive you, my brother. I can't walk around with that chip on my shoulder no more.
Right.
I forgave you.
Right. You can't be avoid. You can't avoid it.
And be like,
you can't be avoiding.
I can't come back 8 months later. Yeah, I can't come back 8 months later and be like, you know what, D, smack. You'd be like, dog, what you do that for? I'll be like, yo, you smacked me. He's like, bro, but you said you forgave me.
Charlie Murphy.
That's what happens. You got people who say that because it sounds good in the moment.
Right.
They don't want to mess up whatever the situation is, but yet they're still harboring that feeling. They're still harboring that. So do you really forgive a person?
Or do
you know what I'm saying? And so that's a lot of things that's happening around in relationships. People have done things to the other person, blah, 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 blah. But they ain't really forgive. Because if you forgive, you shouldn't bring it up. I'm not saying that you can't, especially if you bring it up in a healthy manner of discussion, trying to talk things out, work it out, whatever have you.
I believe
not to use that John as ammo
as
come
ammo.
back.
Yeah, I believe you can bring it up if you see the same actions come up again. Then I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I can bring this back up because you showing me the same kind of
change.
Right.
You ain't changed nothing. So maybe we need to revisit this because you ain't changing.
And Kendra just said a very good point. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. Forgiveness is for you, not the other person. I mean, that's facts.
Mm-hmm.
That is facts.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest. You got a lot of people walking around. They said they done told you they forgave you, but they ain't really forgive you.
They're not showing it.
So basically, and their actions and their words and their tone says otherwise. So that's a contradiction. Yeah, it's a contradiction.
You got a lot of people. You have a lot of people that walk around who for one, they want to be angry.
Right.
And number two, they want to have something over someone.
Right.
So it's a thing of they don't want the healing.
Right.
I don't understand it, but there's some people that's like that. And you have some people that's out there, man, like they want to heal completely.
Yeah.
Because it's not good for them to harbor anything.
Right. And Ebony said, healing isn't instant. You're right, Ebony. It's not instant. It's not. And I'm not saying if I sit up here and say, I forgive you, then I still don't feel some type of way. You're still going to have to work through that, but I'm not going to come at you
constantly
in a place of malice. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to work with you.
The same thing.
Right. And Ebony also said forgiveness and healing are not the same. A person may forgive but are still hurting. Mm-hmm. And that's right. But forgiveness starts the healing process. Mm-hmm. And I think we have to, that's what it is. Forgiveness starts the healing process. If you're not going to forgive, there's no healing.
I don't think you can completely heal from something unless the forgiveness is there. I've been
you have to start it. That's you can't.
Yeah,
there's no way to get to it.
I've been through a situation to where I had to forgive somebody, but for myself, because this thing was on me for years, and I for some reason it kept coming back. Certain things will revisit. Mm-hmm. I would have things and interactions and stuff like that. I never felt easy in an interaction with that person because I never really came out and forgave that person. Mm-hmm. But once again, that forgiveness was for me. It wasn't for that person.
Right.
But I had to literally not just forgive him like within myself, but I had to go and tell that person I forgive that person.
I forgive you. Right.
In order for me to kind of be able to, that healing started at that moment. I thought, me personally, I thought I was over the situation, but I really wasn't. I had to start it by saying it right then, and then that healing, when I did, you talking about a weight. I mean, it was like literally it came off of me.
Right.
And then the healing started, and I was able to, with that situation, I was able to help other people who have been through the same situation.
Right.
Because it's easy. It's how can you help someone get through something that you supposedly gotten through? You can't help them like that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That once again, this thing right here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, this form. Is this a form of healing right here among brothers?
Oh, absolutely.
Man. Oh, yeah. This is absolutely great, man.
I'm grateful for Kyle for you coming on here and opening up and talking about this, brother. You know what I'm saying?
For real, man.
We've heard similar situations, with Chee, but we never heard it on this spectrum, this side. And for you to come on and share this, brother, I appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. And again, to your point that you said earlier, King, man, bro, iron sharpens iron. That doesn't just go with your mate or your spouse. This goes with brothers, like-minded brothers, which is the reason why, And just to add, like, bro, Chee and I talk, you know, we may hit each other up on Facebook every now and again, or we'll reach out or whatever have you, but we haven't talked in a minute. As soon as I touched down in Houston, I was like, I gotta call my boy. I said, I can't come to the H and not holler at him.
Right.
And we pick up just like that. And I share with him everything or whatever have you. And again, dude, the first thing that came out of his mouth by not talking to me in months, if not a year or so.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Brother, how are you? Are you okay?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I told you, man.
Talking about something. You know what I'm saying?
He has that doggone quality about him, and I don't understand it. You know what I mean?
So stupid for
you know what I'm saying? You know,
it's aggravating for him to be such a good dude.
Man, I've never seen this guy without a smile on his face. But you know, I say that to give flowers to gentlemen like Chee. Even though I just met you, you know, Chris, give you your flowers right now. I have other homeboys, and D, I know he jumped off real quick. Flowers to him. But you know, I have had so many good brothers from my walk of life that I've, you know, shared this with, and you know, I have to talk. That's also my therapy, to be able to talk about it, to be able to express it, and get it out. Because if I didn't get it out, you know, I think you know, she probably would have got a phone call that went like, "This is inmate such and such and such and such,
right?
From Cobb County." You know what I'm saying?
You gotta have that healing all the way around.
Exactly.
Man.
Right. So because of my group. You know, good men and women, and prayer. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really why I'm at a space right now. Like I'm Gucci. You know what I'm saying? To a point where I won't hurt anybody else. You know what I'm saying? To the point where I can share this experience, and I don't feel anger. I don't feel animosity. I don't feel like I'm a failure. Like, hey man, life's gonna go on. I'm not the first. It ain't gonna be the last. But if I can help any brother, you know what I'm saying, and going forward in this type of situation, yo, I'm here, because we don't have enough brothers that are having dialogue like this to help other brothers get through.
Right. And I can honestly say this, and I can appreciate the people in the comments. I can appreciate the women in the comments.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies. For real. Y'all open, man, and that's important, because it's important to you guys are not just putting comments. You're actually listening to what we're saying, and you're being objective to it. Right? You're giving your honest opinion, but you're also understanding everything that you're saying. And they're
not taking it as a personal attack.
It's not
a personal attack. It's someone trying to heal.
Yes.
And we're trying to gain knowledge in order to be able to heal also. Right. This is a give and take thing.
Yeah.
Just like us brothers up here talking. You know what I mean? And trust me, there are a lot of women that need to have these conversations too, because a lot of them don't.
Right.
They feel like they got it, just like men do. They feel like they got it and they can get it on their own. Nah,
you need to help. We putting y'all on free game.
It's some game right here.
Yeah, I love the back and forth. I love it in the comments. A lot of time I'm looking in there, but I love to get the feedback. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, look, hey man, I've been with my wife 25 years. I don't know everything. She don't know everything. Right. We don't know everything about each other. We still learning about each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a journey. I do have a running joke. I always say it. I told my wife, you know what I mean, we've been together too long. We ain't, if we get into it with each other and we have to get a divorce or whatever, we still gonna live together, because I ain't giving up my house. I ain't.
Give me my pillow. Give my pillow over here.
Yeah, it's gonna be real uncomfortable in this mug because you start dating, he gonna be upset in the bed.
Matter of fact, you know what? And that's another thing.
The house that I gave up, boy.
We need to understand the bed.
It hurt.
Ask me this then. And fellas, y'all can attest to this too.
But you know what? You're gonna get one.
I'm gonna be blessed with a big, yeah, absolutely.
And you're gonna have a piano in the background, just like you got right now.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. This is,
and I'm gonna say this too.
My vision board.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna say it too before we get out of here. For all these women that sleep in the bed, that your half of the bed is your half of the bed. How you end up on the other? How I end up on this much space,
man?
At that much bed, I don't understand. And
let it go, bro.
I'm just gonna put it out there.
You was out there recognizing booty cheeks, bro. Now you let it go.
That goes out to my wife right there. I want the bed. You can't have the whole bed. The part right there. I mean, if the bed is big, how only got this little piece right here? I pay for the whole bed. I mean,
at the moment as soon as you made her your best friend and y'all was out there recognizing cheeks together, you lost your side of the bed, homeboy. That's it. She over there.
Cheeks.
She over there.
All I'm saying is, I just want the bed. I want
as soon as you said something about the Speedos, you lost your side of the bed.
First of all, that's further reason why I need my side of the bed. If I've got all this goodness on the bed, I need to have this.
If you just got Speedos on, you shouldn't be hot. So her being over there ain't got no problem.
I should be able to breathe. You know what I'm saying?
So you're breathing enough, dog.
Exactly. You know, keep your side of the bed. You know,
Kyle, I'm sorry, Kyle.
Hey, man, but y'all, we get ready. Trust me.
No, man, we can keep going,
y'all. This is what we do, man.
Yes. I love y'all, brothers, man. Love you, ladies. In the comments, we can't really wrap up. This was an amazing show, amazing chat session. Thank you, my brother Kyle, for joining us. Amazing. Kingfish.
Appreciate you.
Damon, he hasn't popped off. Datrion, I know he's working.
Ebony said something, man. Ebony said something, man. Put it up there.
The bed is my side. What she say? The bed is my side of the bed.
My body. That is body is my bed. Oh man, he signed up for it.
Oh,
hey, it is what it is.
I'm talking to Christy tonight. We have a family meeting. I'm putting my foot down tonight.
Yeah,
Tonight's the night.
I'm going to tell Raquel right now, her body is my bed too.
Exactly. Stay on your side.
Right.
That don't mean.
Heck no.
But man, we love y'all. We'll be back on live on Tuesday. Thursdays, guys, is when we do this. So see y'all on Tuesday. We got another topic. We're gonna do something amazing. Y'all know how we do it. Kyle, thank you again, my brother, joining on.
You gotta come back through, bro.
You gonna come back, man.
Whenever y'all need me.
We got you, man. We got some other topics coming up, man. I'm gonna drop some stuff. So I've definitely got you in the fold.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Make sure you put me on with that Zion Williams topic. That's the one I want to talk about.
That's
what we got going.
Hey, we got a few topics, bruh. We got a few of them coming up. So
that Zion joint.
Yeah. You know,
we ain't gonna talk about Jalen Green. We ain't talking about that one.
Yeah, we ain't.
Right.
And what's the name of the girl who?
The baby.
The
one who faked her abduction.
Oh, that chick, man.
Come on, man. You know, we got some topics out here, man. We're gonna play some videos. We're gonna do that whole show on some stuff, y'all.
That's a female Jussie Smollett.
Smollett. You know, all attention is not good attention, people. So, man, we get out of here. Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Sit tight, Kyle. And
if y'all like the show, please comment.
Yeah, y'all. Comment,
like
subscribe, like it. Y'all, we're going to do some major things, y'all. So we'll keep y'all in the loop. There's some things working on.
Tell your mama about it. We want 70-year-old people up in here too.
Get your auntie. Get your auntie.
Get your play cousin, the one from high school.
Tell Zion. He might want to talk to us about it.
He might just healing. Okay,
yeah. What not to do?
Hey, but we out of here, man. We love y'all. Thank you. God bless y'all. See y'all on Tuesday. Same bad time, same bad channel. God bless y'all. Be safe. Have a great weekend. All right, we out of here. Hold tight, fellas.